Sometimes children have a misbelief about fairness, that fairness means equal. And so they make the statement, that's not fair, whenever they see inequality in how they're being treated based on their comparison to other people. And this is what's dangerous. When children start evaluating their lives based on comparison and competition, then it increases their anger level, because there's always this inconsistency or this lack of equality that exists. And so we have to work against this. I think some parents try to treat their children all equally in order to balance the scales of justice in a child's heart. That is a huge mistake, because you can't accomplish it. It just increases the competition and comparison that a child relies on for their own identity. So we must work against this idea. Sometimes a parent will go say, hey, we're going to buy shoes for Jimmy, then we'll buy shoes for Susie too, because we want everybody to feel like we're treating them the same. We really have to break this down, because this belief just creates this intense anger in children. And the reality is that that is not how we should be treating children anyway. We don't treat them all equally. We treat them all special. We treat them all uniquely based on their own gifts and their own needs, in the same way that God treats us. When God created us, he created us all different. In fact, when he gives us spiritual gifts, he gives each one a different gift. He doesn't treat us all equally in that regard. There are a number of parables that talk about this inequality, and there's no apology for one who gets 5 talents, one who gets 2 talents, one who gets 1 talent. You can read in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verses 14 to 23, about this kind of inequality that takes place. It's not the inequality that creates this lack of fairness. And we must help children understand this. I encourage parents to intentionally treat children uniquely and special. So if you're calling the kids, you don't even say, okay, kids, everybody come for dinner now. We're saying, Billy, come for dinner. You need to set the table here for us. And Mary, you need to go in the bathroom, wash your hands for dinner. So we're using their names and treating them separately. If we're going to go out to buy shoes for Billy, we're saying we're going out to buy shoes for Billy. And Mary says, that's not fair. I'm not getting anything. That's right. You're not, because we're buying shoes for Billy. We're intentionally treating children uniquely. We have to break down this idea. Otherwise, it just breeds this competition and comparison that's really dangerous in the life of a child. We may even intentionally work on this idea. One mom said that she took in this plate of cookies to her kids and said to one child, here's a cookie for you, and here's 2 cookies for you, and started to walk out of the room. And the first child says, hey, that's not fair. How come she gets more cookies than me? And mom said, don't worry about her. If you want more cookies, here, you have a couple more cookies. And so the idea here is let's all work on our own relationship. It's like when Jesus was explaining at the end of the Gospel of John to Peter how he was going to die. Peter looks to John and says, what about him? Like many of our kids do. And the real answer to that is that we're not looking at someone else. We're not trying to compare ourselves to someone else. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to help our children realize that we are treating them special. We're treating them uniquely. And that's so important. It's like Jesus said to him, what is it to you if I let him remain until I come again? The point is, work on your relationship with me. That's what you focus on, and that's what we're teaching children to do as well. They have to let this go. If they try to rely on fairness as this measure of their own self-concept, they are in extreme danger of becoming an angry person, because life is not fair, and it's time to learn that now. We don't even try to treat people fairly, and God works with us each in a unique way, according to our own unique skills, abilities, challenges, and even our brokenness in our own lives. So this will help us greatly if we can teach children this at an early age.